channel today, and we are going to be doing a brand new Sims 4 speed build. But today I'm going to be doing a good old-fashioned collab with my good friend oshinsims. And if you're not familiarized with her channel, I will leave all the links down below in the description, of course. But however, here are the list of reasons why you should go ahead and subscribe to oshinsims. 1, she's kind-hearted and down-to-earth. 2, she's a very fantastic storyteller. 3, she loves The Sims. And 4, she's just a good friend of mine that I honestly know that you all will definitely love. And if you want to learn a little bit more about her background and what she does, I will also link down below our podcast episode that we did on Hello Spring, which is my podcast, if you didn't know. I have one. But either way, make sure you go ahead and check out all the links down below. But let's go ahead and hop into today's speed build. So initially, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the house, I didn't really know per se. So I kind of went over to Pinterest to figure out like what I wanted to do for the house, the general aesthetic, especially in the surrounding area, because we're in the new world, Henford On Bagley, which is a brand new world that came with Cottage living, of course, my favorite cottage core world of all time. It's on a 30 by 20 lot, and it's like around 86,000 simoleons, so it's not that expensive, but it's, you know, the right amount of size and budget for your Sims to, like, you know, have if they have a sustainable income from their jobs or their gardening or flopsy or whatever it might be. They could afford this home. Plus it has a very historical vibe to it in itself as well, because with the storyline that Ocean gave me for these two lovely Sims, we have Raiden, who's a young adult, we have also his mother, who's an elder, and then they have their good old-fashioned dog, Boo. And I'm gonna read you the storyline that she gave me for these Sims, but also go to her channel to check out the creative Sim, so you can kind of see how she kind of created them, but also a more in-depth of their backstory, because personally, I just love listening to Ocean talk, kind of, just because her voice is very soothing and it's so relaxing just to listen to and just vibe in the background. But the storyline for these Sims is that Raiden knew his mother needed help on the farm, but he didn't think 1 month would turn into 1 year. It's clear Ellie's getting older and her memory is slowly escaping, but that doesn't change her love for her animals and her land. As much as he wants to focus on his release of his new book series, family comes first. Will he be able to focus on his career and help his mother? Honestly, in my mind, when I read that description, when Ocean gave me the background initially, I was so immersed into the storyline, because even though it tells you so little, it tells you so much. Because Raiden is a young adult, so he probably went to Brightchester University for a little bit and graduated, you know, top honors and everything, which I did include a little Brightchester, you know, degree and upstairs on his bedroom and some other cool things to give him what he needed. So this whole house is like basically a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. However, you can convert one room into another bedroom, because I gave Raiden his bedroom, but also like a separate office for him to go work on his book series if he wants to, if he has time in helping his mother with the farm and everything. But when I was reading it, I was thinking to like, in my idea is that Ellie, as she's an elder and has been living here for so long, and she loves her farm, she loves her animals, she loves her chickens, I thought it'd be very, very perfect to think that this whole idea is that Ellie was one of the original founder families in Henford On Bagley, and she could be like 89 years old. And Henford On Bagley could be like, I don't know, 100 years old or so. We just don't really know. So I thought it'd be very perfect to call this collab the Bagley Original Collab. And it seems fitting because, you know, Ellie was one of the original families and Henford On Bagley. It just made sense. Plus, it plays on words, because I find Henford On Bagley a very historical, vibey world, because you have Agnes Crunklebottom, who didn't really want change in the first place in old New Henford, in that other area of the world. But also you have, you know, Ian and Derek, like Ian Moody and Derek McMillan, and then you have all the other townies as well. And I feel like, you know, Ellie, Ian, Derek, and Agnes, and also Agatha, and maybe, just maybe, Simon and Sarah Scott, their ancestors used to live here too. They were the original founding families, and they like to keep the things peaceful, kind, lighthearted, but still up and coming, but don't want to do too much where it kind of depreciates the value of their world, their town, what they used to love. And I wanted to make sure that I kept on the inside of the house very historical, so I added a bunch of like beams on like the first floor. It's more like what do you call it? Exposed, like open, like balcony type of things. Like, I don't know what you would call it, but I think it looks really cool. And I took my darn hardest time to make it work. And I loved every single minute of it. But like, I don't know what it is, but building in Henford On Bagley is a newfound inspiration for me because I don't get that inspired in other worlds. Mainly, I usually build them like in Newcrest or, Willow Creek, which Willow Creek in itself is also historical, but I don't get that sense of inspiration and excitement to build. And it might have to do with like a new pack being released and everything, but for me, something about the families in this town give me a sense of excitement to know more about them, even though they don't really have any like history but beyond where they are now. I can see myself learning more about them, like who their mother, who their father was, who were they dating, where did they live before, how did they get here, stuff like that. And that's why Ellie is like the way she is. She loves her farm, she loves her family, and she's been here for many, many years. I'm going to say at least she's been here all her life. For the past 86 years of her life, she's lived here. She's loved the Sims who lived here. She loved Ian and Derek when they had their initial, get together and they came out and they got, they're not engaged or anything, but, soon to be, they could be engaged. And even though that Ellie's mind is slipping a little bit and slowly, I feel like that Raiden, coming from Brightchester, from graduating at top honors, he wants to do everything in his power to make sure that his mother is doing all right. One, with her mind and her physical health, but also making sure that her farm doesn't really, go to dust. And I don't want to see that happen. Like, I really, really don't. Like, I honestly find myself loving these Sims even more, even though that they aren't real. I find myself so excited to like play with them. Like, if Ocean, I know that she's going to probably upload them to the galleries for you all to download and play with for your own gameplay, and I kind of just want to bring them into the mix. Like, I kind of want to carry on that storyline for these Sims, even though they're not really a family that I created. I want to be able to take what Ocean created and still continue that story, because I don't know, I just get so inspired just from simple little things of everyday life. And I think what I like about Henford on Bagley with Ellie and Raiden is that this town is about everyday life, getting away from the hustle and bustle of the city, the suburban area, making sure that you are taking it easy and taking your slow and patient time to look at the people around you, the surrounding area where you live, and taking it one day at a time, like living in the moment. And I kind of see that where Ellie never really wanted to leave her hometown, even though that the town was growing and changing every now and then with like the NAPS program and Sims leaving and going and dying, and all these other things were happening around the world that she didn't really know what to do and how to explain it. And even though some people said, Ellie, I think you should really change and probably move out or upgrade your home a little bit. And Ellie was like so against it after so many years. Like, I know like the mayor of Henford On Bagley was like so prominent, like thinking, Ellie, I think you should really change your town or like your home a little bit to make it more appealing to new Sims moving into the world. And she was so against it because she didn't want to lose that memory that she always loved. Her parents used to live here. They were founding families, and she didn't want to be able to like get rid of her family dynamics that she has always loved for so long. And I think if she does lose her memory, I think she has kept like scrapbooks and diaries and photos and everything over the years, and like in the attic or somewhere in the home that Raiden can look at one day and possibly keep her memory alive at some point in his life, maybe in his book series or like a separate short story. I don't really know what it could be, but I can definitely see Raiden taking care of his mother for a very, very long time and making sure that her legacy still carries on for years and years to come. And people should know about Ellie's life and her everything. Like, she's literally everything to me. Even though she's not my Sim, I wish she was. Like, I don't know. I just think that Ellie just has a lot going on for her. Even though she's at the age stage that she is right now, I can see her having a very good, crocheting skill or cross-stitching skill, level 5. She has a good knitting skill. She's been very profitable in Flopsy, and also like being very profitable in like the whole idea of making homemade pies and the Finchwinch fairs, and has like a bunch of ribbons. And so I added in a bunch of like first place ribbons on the first floor that you kind of saw me place. I think I had like the egg competition, the produce, like the flowers and crops and stuff. So we have crops growing on the side of the yard. Lettuce and eggplant are growing right now. They're all in season. They're all good. So you make sure you water them. I was gonna add in sprinklers, but I just kind of forgot, but I'll probably add that in before I upload to the gallery so you can all have it. But overall, the whole idea is that Ellie is a well-renowned winner. And even though that there are new people up and coming and could beat Ellie, there's no way in chance that they will win, because they will lose. Ellie is the top dog of Henford on Bagley and Finch Winch of the county fair. So if you think you're gonna win, no. Ellie might lose her mind here and there, but no. When it comes to the fair, oh, she remembers every single recipe, every single pie she's ever made. She made blueberry pie, she made eggplant pie, she made meat pie, she made sweet potato pie. She made so many pies in her lifetime that she almost decided to open up her own little like shop down the line at some point in Henford on Bagley. But things were so, still new, and she wasn't really up for it. And I think at some point, when Raiden graduated, she was like losing her memory a little bit, that it wasn't in the like she wasn't in the best position to really do that per se. So I don't know. I think if I ever do carry on the legacy of these two Sims and Boo, their dog, I could probably end up having Raiden probably just continue his book series alongside helping his mother, but maybe opening up a little side shop for Ellie, like Ellie's bakery goods or something. I don't know. I think her legacy should still carry on no matter what happens to her, no matter where she goes in her life. I think that she deserves the best and deserves to have everything she ever wanted, whether she liked it or not. And we're doing this for like her best interest. Like Raiden is doing everything in his power to make sure that her legacy is still alive. Like he thought he was going to be there for 1 month after graduating at Brightchester University. It ended up being like a year him staying there. And he thought, if I'm already here, might as well go ahead and help my mom, see what she's going about, how she's doing, make sure she's taking care of her health and her mental health and everything, but also taking care of the farm, but also trying to focus on my book series. And I don't know if at some point in life that Raiden might give up on his book series. Like there's a possible chance he could a lot later down the line. Like if he gets so sucked into the Bagley comfort cottage core life, he could end up losing everything. But I don't think he can. Like as long as he has his mother on his side, he will have what he needs to succeed, whether it's on the farm, whether it's in his life, his relationships with people, or his book series. But then a part of me thinks that what if he combines both his career and his love for his mom together, where he does write a book series, like his next sequel to his book series, which I'm not sure what's going to be called just yet, but probably Ocean, did a little something for the backstory for the book series. I don't know, but I think one book that he could create, because I think in The Sims, if you get to a certain level of a skill, I think the cooking skill, or I guess any skill, might I add, that you can write a book about that skill. Because the last time I remember, I think I had a Sim who created a charisma book or something. So I always thought, why not have a way where Raiden carries on Ellie's cookbook that she was making over the years. After 15 years of the making, she wasn't able to finish it because she was losing her memory and couldn't remember stuff. But she still had her whole manuscript of everything she's ever written and all the recipes that she has ever kept or written down or collected over the years from her parents or relatives or whoever it might be. She has all those in her her room. And so I think that Raiden could, still have the joy of writing and write a cookbook for his mom, continue her cookbook, but with his hands and his his knowledge and his brain to keep, again, the memory alive. So personally, it could all work out well for Raiden at the end of the day. And so personally, I can definitely see them succeeding. Let me know in the comments below. What do you all think about Raiden and Ellie and Boo? Do you see themselves really succeeding in life? Do you see Raiden still having the ability to focus on his career, but also helping his mother at the same time? Because a part of me doesn't want Raiden to lose his mom. And I know that at some point he's going to lose his mom at some point. And I don't want him to lose everything he has ever cared for, because I feel that Ellie is the only family he has got left. We don't know where his father is at. We don't know where his father probably passed away from, I don't know, probably from old age. But we don't know if he has any siblings or, anything going for him in his life. Like, could Ellie be the last family member in his life that he probably, you know, I don't know. It's just like the storyline. It's short, but it tells you so much where you can think about what could be the possible outcomes of his life. So at the end of the day, do you all think Raiden will succeed both in his career and with his family, or one or the other, like an ultimatum, like he has to choose one or the other? Like, what do you think? For me, I always want to see my Sims succeed, and I want to make sure that they have a very good positive outcome in life, and making sure that they do what they got to do and make sure they have whatever they need. I don't know, it's just like me talking words at this point, but I think that Raiden's just like that one good soul that you don't think good things can happen to him, but it can if you really trust and believe in him, that you know he can do well. And I believe he can do well. But up here on the second floor, I just skipped through the whole thing because I don't really talk about the, you know, the build at all, because I'm a whole like storyteller right here. Like, I love storytelling, so I talk about the story more than the build itself. So that's just me. But overall, I think that with the upstairs, what I liked most about it is that I was combining a bunch of like cats and dogs and, you know, cottage living, a little bit like, I think I added in some like city living, and also get together, I think, somewhere into the mix. Because when you think about it, laundry stuff, get together, well, yeah, no, cottage living, city living a little bit in some different avenues. There's also get together, tiny living, laundry day stuff. Those all packs like fit so well together because of the architectural style, but also the objects that are put into the packs. They all make sense, so they all work well together, especially Discovery University. I forgot about that pack too. There's a bunch of historical objects you can use that make the build look way better than it already is. Like, if you want to add the historical touch to your build, use packs that make sense, like I did today, like get together, you know, tiny living, a little bit laundry day stuff, because, you know, you gotta have laundry somewhere, you gotta wash your dirty little clothes. And then, you know, you got this, the other packs. I don't know, there's just so many packs we have in Sims 4 that's hard to keep up, but there are certain packs that work so well together that I find very unique and different, that just look perfect. But overall, Ellie's a family woman. She's so kind and so sweethearted and amazing that honestly, you could have a fun time if you download these Sims and also download this house and carry out their legacy and their story and see where it goes. And if you do end up downloading Ellie, Raiden, and Boo at some point in your life of playing The Sims 4 and this house that they're going to live in, let us like tweet me and Ocean on Twitter or Instagram us or whatever it might be, and let us know what you all do, because personally I think it'd be very fun to know that our build and our Sims had a life outside of our videos, because it'll be very fun to see, and also very fun to know that, you know, they had something going on in their life, as always. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop into the real-time tour. So now that we're into the real-time tour of this video, I have to say building this house was a lot of fun to do, just because one, it was a collab with my good friend oshinsims. Two, there was like a backstory behind it, which I always love because it gives me a general like visualization of like what I can do for those Sims when I build their house. And also trying to capture their style in the town that they are living in, especially the fact that cottage living is a nice European cottagecore world, Henford On Bagley. I love this world so much that I wanted to make sure it was very historical looking and it captured the vibe of those two Sims. Raiden, who's like a writer, but also Ellie, who is like a gardener and a well-renowned just winner of all the competitions and just a good person in general. So for the interior, I made sure that I made it very cluttered, but also mixing and matching the different packs together, like get together, cottage, you know, cottage living, tiny living, parenthood, laundry day stuff, and even like I think there's also cats and dogs because they have a dog named Boo. And personally, it just made sense to just add those packs in it, because when you really think about it, different packs go really well together when you take the time to look at all the items in the game and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. Now, I did mention in the speed build that I added a bunch of like ribbons in the wall because Ellie is a well-renowned winner at all the competitions, like the chicken, the egg, the oversized crops, along with the garden competition and also the pie competition. Like, she makes a mean, good sweet potato pie. Like, honestly, could do no wrong. Now, I also added in a bunch of like shoes on the ground from Dream Home Decorator, which is also another good pack to use for clutter. And then also some paintings on the wall and some N accent tables. Is that what they're called? Accent tables? We're gonna go with it. But I did that, and also a picnic basket. Again, it just blends the room together and make it look nice and cohesive. Now, for the dining room, I knew I wasn't gonna do too much in here just because it's a dining room, you can't really do much. However, when you download this house, you can decorate it however you want and add some extra knickknack paddywhacks if you wanna do some stuff. But I added in a table from Cats and Dogs, which I find myself not using these chairs enough just because I don't know why I don't, but it looks so good, and it matches like the whole like general aesthetic of this room. And then we have some other paintings on the wall as well from Cottage Living. Now for the kitchen, even though it looks a little bit dark and droopy in here, I made sure I added a bunch of like counter space into the mix of giving your Sims a sense of like travel, because I added a bunch of postcards in the wall over here on the cockboard, the board. And also adding all of my favorite appliances from Cottage Living. Like, I love this sink so much that I'm gonna use it all the time. And then I also sized down this like little dish rack thing over here from Parenthood. And the cool thing about the sink is that there's no slots on them, so you can basically alt place things, holding down your alt key and placing them however you want in any direction. So I added like a plant, a soap dispenser, and like a dish rack when you're done washing your dishes. And we have this bread box from Parenthood, a little microwave from Base Game, and just a stove and refrigerator from Cottage Living. Now, I love the cabinets from Cottage Living as well. The different variants that they have are very nice, and then also this one right here is pretty cool because it has like a plant, a plate, and like some jam jars that you can make. Oh, I also forgot to mention, Ellie loves making jam all the time. If she can like grow the stuff, she'll make it into jam. Trust me. Whatever you give her, she'll make it into jam. Or mayonnaise or custard, whatever you could think of, she can make. She's just that good at what she does, okay? Just so you know. But then the living room, I didn't really know what to do per se with this one because it was a living room, and I was like contemplating like, okay, Ellie loves gardening, she loves animals, and then there's Raiden, her son, who's a writer, but also wants to take care of his mother. And I thought, you know, gardener, writer, historical. I added in a bunch of like new stuff from Cottage Living, like the fireplace, the TV, because it's not mounted anymore. They took that old one down because it was breaking. And then I added in some hay bales. I don't know why I did. I just thought it just made sense to do it that way. Because, you you live on the farm, you gotta have some extra supplies somewhere in your home, at least. And then an easel, because I thought Ellie would paint for a little bit when she's, not dealing with her animals that day. She can probably paint. And then since Raiden is a writer, I added in a typewriter, but then I thought Raiden's not, the whole typewriter friendly person. So this is Ellie's typewriter from like the good old days back from the 30s, and she's kept it for so long, and Raiden has fixed it up over the years, and it just seems perfect just to have something, to look back at too. And then Ellie has her bike that she has collected from a nice little competition, what I call from Evergreen Harbor from the dumpster, cleaned it up over the years and has had it ever since, but adding in some new little flowers on the front part of the bicycle, and Raiden added in this little basket on the behind of it. So it's nice, sweet, yellow, really cool, fits the vibe. And then over here is Ellie's bedroom, which I had so much fun because I added in a bunch of like nifty knitting related stuff into the mix. Like I added the rocking chair, some little like sewing, crocheting stuff on the wall, a little rack, and also some cross stitching kit from Cottage Living. And I don't know, I just think that with elders, they don't get enough of items for them to really signify that they are elders. Even though they look old, they don't really have any like dedicated items for them. So I thought it'd be perfect just to add, just random stuff in here, stuff that she has collected over the past like 40 years or so herself after having jobs and gardening and animals and life in general from Henford On Bagley and maybe Brandon Bay. I don't know. I just think that it matches her aesthetic, I think. So that's what I did here, and I love it a lot. And I also added in this nice little gnome statue, and it looks so cute. Look at you. Little gnome, little chicken run. Oh, looks so cute. You actually get this item if you pre-order Cottage Living early before September, I think 10th, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. All I know, if you buy it before September, you're good. You get new content, like bonus content basically. And I thought it'd be kind of funny just to add it in Ellie's room. Just, just looks cool. I don't know. Chickens and gnomes are kind of funny. Now for the bathroom, I was struggling on what I wanted to do with it because it was very small and compact. And I knew that a bathroom, you don't do much, and I don't do well with decorating bathrooms in general. So I added in a toilet, a little plunger from Debug, this nice little classic shower tub combo. Now for the second floor, this is where it gets funny because I personally had a lot of fun with this because upstairs is mainly where Raiden will live, per se. Like you have his bedroom over here, which is very small. He doesn't really need much. He don't really do much. He just writes and helps his mom, who's been here for a year now. But, I wanted to give him at least some personality. So I did add in a little backpack that he got probably from school days, his little bed that he can scoot over, a nice little chair, and then a small little TV because he doesn't need a big one because he got one downstairs. And then his dresser drawer with a mirror. And then over here is where his true love lies. And I wasn't going to add any like historical wallpaper to this because I thought it was a room in the house that didn't really have any excitement to it. It was all stone or rock or whatever it might be for the wallpaper. So I added in like this nice little cracked on the wall wallpaper from base game. And it just seemed perfect and seemed fitting for Raiden because he's only been here for a year. He can probably touch it up if he wants to, change the wallpaper, add some stick and peel, do what he got to do. But I added in this all-powerful PC with some lamps from Discovery University, a desk from base game, and also some other boxes that I got from City Living and the holiday box you can decorate your house with during the winter or any season, might I add. Now, since Ellie loves her animals and loves gardening, I thought it'd be very perfect to add in a bunch of little chickens and also some garden plots over here that you can get from Cottage Living. I've already pre-planted some extra produce that you can grow. Like I added in some eggplants on both of the middle ones and then pumpkins on the end on this side and then this on the other side as well. So you have things growing, just make sure you water them and talk to them and, spray for bugs and do what you got to do and weed them so they don't die on you and they become overgrown. I added in some chicken coops just because Ellie loves chickens and I added in 2 of them because, 16 chickens, you get double the produce, double the eggs, double the excitement. Because you can name your chickens however you want. And since she loves animals, I thought she'd be a friend of all animals with the animal enthusiast trait. I would assume that what Ocean did. So I added in these 3 bee boxes here that I thought could be, very nice to get some honey, make some nice little knick-knack paddywhacks. And so it just seemed fitting to add those into the mix. And personally, it looks very comforting. And also a little hay bale over here, some recycling bins, and then a picnic table. And since your Sims can buy these things, I thought, why not just add them in? I added over a oversized medium pumpkin, a small pumpkin, some animal treats that you can get, and some, choco berries and blueberries in a picnic basket, and a small little mushroom seat. But either way, I'm actually going to wrap up this video right here. I do hope you all enjoyed today's video as much as I did because I had so much fun being able to collab with my good friend, but also being able to build something very historical, memorable, and just overall just cottage core. But personally, let us know down in the comments below. As always, should we do more collabs like this in the future where I do the build and she does the creative sim, or should the roles be reversed where I make the sims and she does the build, or should we just do something creative and extra and see what we can do? But let us know as always in the comments below. But make sure you go and check out Ocean's video. I will link it down below as a pinned comment, but also in the description along with a few other goodies as always. But you know the drill, my friends. Here in the Spring Squad, we always spread that love, kindness, and positivity wherever we are in the world, because that way people know that they feel loved, seen, and heard no matter what, because your feelings are validated, as always. But either way, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to both of our channels and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified when we upload a brand new video to all. And as always, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!